Greetings, Stampers. We are here on another Monday night for Make It With Me Monday. It is hard to believe it's already the end of August. I feel like I just started talking about my birthday month, and here it is all ready to be ending. Just a quick reminder that the special offers regarding my birthday celebration, including the grab gift bag with the celebration purchase, will end tomorrow. So if you want to still take advantage of that, just get your order in by tomorrow and I will send you out a little bag of goodies. I have a whole bunch of retired items that I'm ready to just share. So it'll be an assortment of little paper and ribbon and embellishment and that kind of stuff. And again, that's with a qualifying celebration order by tomorrow. But the rest, remember, celebration does go for another month yet. So you still have time to catch up on getting some of those items for yourself there. All right, wait a couple more minutes for more people to pop on. But first, I wanted to show you guys another birthday card I received in the mail. This one's from Tina, and I love this color palette she used, purples and blues. So cool. And then she added, I'm going to be really careful opening this, a whole bunch of birthday confetti in there for me. And some of the balloons have a 50 on them. There's candles. There's other balloons that are textured. Cupcakes. I think that's pretty much all of the shapes. But that was really fun to open. No, there's a, whoop, see, that's exactly what it is. You end up spreading it all over the place. So let me get rid of that quick. And then there's one of my favorite retired stamps with, whoops, there we go. Is it hot in here or is it just the candles on your cake? And that's kind of about where I am now that we've hit the, as Tina wrote, half-century club. You end up getting quite a warm cake if you actually have all the candles. My family was nice to me and just put a 5 and a 0, so I didn't have to work too hard with mine. Okay, I am hoping that everybody noticed I had a boo-boo on the list of dimensions. There was some numbers missing. I had a little glitchy thing happening when I was typing out in that program, and I didn't catch that it didn't save it properly in there when I was typing. So let me go over what you need for tonight, and that way if you have to do anything else quick to make up for something, you can do that while I'm showing you what I'm using. Oh, hi Karen, I'm so glad. Your birthday looked like a lot more fun than, or I should, well, that's not true. I had a fun birthday, and I was also near a beach, but you had ocean, so that at least beat out, I think, for me. But it looked like you had a lovely time, and I'm so glad you had a good birthday. Okay, so you need a card base that's a 5.5 by 8.5, and you're going to score that at 4 1/4. You need 2 neutral pieces. One is 3.5 by 4 3/4, and one is 1 by 4. You need a strip of designer series paper that's 1 by 4.5. And we'll be using that vertically if it matters in what you have. And then cardstock, 2 pieces, and it can either be the same as the card base or just coordinate color and whatever with whatever DSP you're using as well. So you need a piece that's 1.5 by 4.5 and then a piece that's 1/2 by 4.5. So I'm gonna keep that right here for a second while I show you what I'm gonna be using tonight. I chose to use Peaceful Deer from the mini catalog, and that is on page 26. So there is that stamp set, but of course I covered that up. There's that stamp set. It comes with a matching punch. And what I like about this one is that while yes, it's Christmassy, it doesn't have to be. The images of the deer and the bunny can certainly be used anytime for a great fall, masculine, all that kind of stuff in your card. This is the deer has an this deer has an oh what fun printed through it, but the rest of the deer are completely normal, I guess, for lack of a better term. And the trees are really cute little clusters, varying sizes, so you can make a great landscape out of those guys. So think beyond Christmas. If you've got family members who are deer hunters or anything like that, this would be a really great set to have on hand to make cards for all those people. And again, it comes with the Deer Builder punch if you do the bundle. And then in Celebration, they had even another bonus. They added DSP that matches. Along with that, you see some of the tree imagery, the snowflakes, and these deer on this page, I'll show it to you up close, can be punched out with your deer punch. So there's no fussy cutting that you need to do on that if you wanted to use the actual shapes. So I'll show you a couple pages at a time. The palette is Cherry Cobbler, Red, Real Red, Sahara Sand, and Garden Green. I've also thrown in a little bit of early evergreen on occasion to pick up some of the blood. I know this is black, but it tends to come off looking like a dark green. So one side will have kind of a Christmassy print, and the other side just has a real generic print. This is cute little polka dots and lovely plaid, and this is kind of branch where, you know, a branch pattern, but yet it goes all the way across like little arrows. So that's 3 of the sheets. You get 2 of each one. And then these are a couple of my favorites. So this one is really cute with the snowflakes on the plaid. This one looks like birch bark, so you've got a great background immediately already for your deer. And like I mentioned, this is the page with the deer, and I'm going to take this one down here. I only didn't realize it's half a deer, but you can punch that out, and then you can also flip it this way, and making sure it's going to be a little trickier to line up, but you would be able to punch it that way and punch out that deer as well. So you've got 2 options there. I would cut him a little smaller, and then you can play with looking at it, hopefully back and forth. And then the other sides, again, stripes and checks. And what I think is really fun, this sheet is a really nice one if you want to just use one sheet of paper and flip back and forth between the sides. This is a perfect one because the same plaid is on the back, just without the snowflakes. So super, super fun. Okay, let's get down to stamping. All right, I, again, am going to be using the Peaceful Deer set on mine. So you should have your card base, 5.5 by 8.5, and you go ahead and fold that and score it and have it ready to go. Again, if you've used a darker color, you're going to want to cut a piece 4 by 5.25 of a neutral to put inside so that you have a place to write or stamp a message. All right, then you're going to take your neutral piece that's 3.5 by 4.25, and you're going to take your DSP and your 2 other cardstock strips. So I'm using black, and I'm using that plaid with the snowflakes on it. So we're going to work left to right. The largest width is going to go first. So that's the 1.5 by 4.5 of your cardstock. So go ahead and put adhesive on that. And then you're going to tuck it to the left where you have a pretty nice small even border. Like so. Okay? And I said we would work right to left. What I really mean is we're going to do the edges. And then we're going to do the middle because I think that for me that lines up better. All right, so your little 1/2-inch piece is going to go to the opposite side. And again, just leave just a little bit of a border. Whoop. All right, there you go. And then you're going to take that DSP for the middle. Give it some adhesive. And that is going to go right down the middle of that. And I think this guy went on a little bit crooked. Let me give him a little help here. There we go. Okay, so your 1.5 strip, your 1-inch strip of DSP, and your 1/2-inch strip of cardstock. So left to right, that's the sizing. Now, if you could also decide you want it to go that way. You want the skinny end on the left, go for it. My samples, I think in one of them I did that. So when you see my samples later, you'll see one where I have the skinny end on the left there. Okay, so then you're gonna take that, and that's gonna get mounted onto your card base. You can do it directly under the card base like I'm gonna do right now, or you could raise it up with dimensionals, totally your call, depending on, again, how much lift you want, and if you're gonna do any other layering, you know, you always wanna be mindful of that postage. We don't wanna be sending too much extra if we don't have to. All right, now you're gonna take your 1x4 strip, and this is what you're going to decorate to put over. So you can do a couple different things. You can just lay it completely over. Mine must be cut too wide. I bet I cut mine wrong. Okay, let me grab my cutter quick because I think I made it 4.5 and not 4. So in the meantime, grab your piece and start stamping. While I double check my length here. Yep, I cut it too long. I was all on the 4.5 because everything else was 4.5. Alrighty, let me try showing you that again. So you can either lay it across like so. You could line it up with one of the edges and then do a cut, either the little pennant shape, or use one of our punches that does something to the end of it. You can decorate up one end if you want. I'm going to show you where I got this inspiration from. One of my very dear stamping friends, my stamping bestie, as I like to call her, sent me 50 birthday cards over the course of the month, and because she was going through her stash of retired items, etc. So they weren't brand new cards, freshly made, but they've come. It's been really fun to look through them as they arrived and go, oh, I remember that stamp set or that kind of thing. And this is one of them. It took a little beating in the mail, so it's a little crinkly up there. But here's what I was talking about. So we've got our piece, and you can either lay it all the way across, or you could have it line up with the edge over here, and then decorate to your heart's desire. So you're going to stamp images. You can use die cuts, whatever you want, and then you could use a decorative end to one of the sides, or both of the sides even. You could do both ends having matching little notches or whatever. Okay, so I'm going to leave that right here while I show you what I'm going to do. I am going to stamp the deer. Let me get my stamps here. I'm going to do the deer from the set that's got the words throughout of him. So it says, oh, what fun. Okay, there's my oh, what fun. And then let me show you how nice it is to punch him out. Also on the punch, there's antlers, and then there's a little nose. So if you wanted to make a Rudolph, you can punch out some really fun red, the red metallic paper would be really fun. All right, I'm gonna line this up looking at it, and then I'll show you. Okay, so we've got it lined up. Give it a squeeze, they pop out. We've got some extra antlers on our nose over there in case we ever need them. All right, so there is my deer. And then I am going to, on each end of this, I'm going to put the Merry Christmas. Now the Merry Christmas comes all as one word, but I don't want to use it that way. So I'm going to show you a trick that I do. So I'm going to ink up just the Merry. And just because I'm pretty sure, my stamp is clean, but you just never know what might be hiding on there. So I'm going to cover up the Christmas with a Post-it note that I can hold on to on the sides of my stamp. So excuse my head in the way because I want to make sure I get this centered. All right, so there's my Merry. And then I'm going to clean it off on my paper right now. Then I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. So I'm lining it up on the ink pad right between the words. Now I'm just inking up the Christmas, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to cover up the Merry, hold on to that Post-it note, bring this a little closer so I can see better, and Christmas. All right, so I've used my phrase, but I've broken it up and used it in a way that I want to. Hi, Mary Lynn, nice of you to join us tonight. If you want to catch up, we're working on the 1x4 piece right now. Stamping it, adding die cut shapes, whatever you want. This was the card I got as an inspiration piece. So right now I'm working on this label part. All right, so I have my Merry Christmas on there. I'm gonna put my deer on there with a couple dimensionals. Let me just pull them out of the bag here. Alrighty. And then he's gonna be hiding, jumping, whatever you want to call that, right in between my words. Like so. So there's Merry Christmas. Now, we're gonna take that back to our card front. And again, I can either lay that down directly. I've already got some dimension here, but if you want, you could pop that up on dimensionals as well. I'm just gonna tape that down because that's a little quick and easy. All right. And there, he's a little right-sided here, but you get the idea. Okay, so there he is. So again, this was the 1.5 piece, the 1-inch DSP, and the 1/2-inch piece of cardstock. And then you've decorated that 1x4 piece with, again, stamps, words, phrases, die-cut shapes, bling. You can see this one had the flower is punched out, the leaf is stamped, and then there's this pretty pearl with the silver lining in it. And again, this is all old retired items that I got in a card swap, I should say card swap, that I got for my birthday from my dear friend. So here is that sample for tonight. Slide that one over. Now, actually I'll take that off for now. So here is one where I changed up the concept of the neutral, and I used black as my quote-unquote neutral panel. So the background was black. I used that paper with the pine tree, checked pine trees in it, and I used one of the pine trees here, this one right here. I embossed it in gold on black, and then used the double oval punch to punch that out, and then punch out a layer of garden green. And I did the Sending Love and Peace This Season, also in gold and embossing. And then for the punch here, I used one of our pick-a-punch tools. And those are back by the punches, and that would be page about like 149-ish. I'll show you another one in a second just to show you how they work. But that did that little arrow kind of points to, I guess it could be. All right, here's another one where I used, again, the DSP from the Peaceful Prince, which again is only available in the Celebration catalog. I actually embossed my 2 pieces of Sahara Sand, hopefully that is showing up, with the Timber embossing folder. And that's going to be in the mini catalog on page 37. I did the bunnies here, and I'm going to post a video later showing you how I got the bunnies like that, because if you look, the bunny only goes that way, but I made the bunny go both ways. So I'll show you a little trick on how to get that to happen. Post that in a video later. And here's another one of those pick-a-punch things I used. So these are the pick-a-punch tools. They come with 2 different shapes, and depending on what width of cardstock you use, you get either this part, that part, or all, this part, adding more. You're gonna slide those grooves into there and then punch, and then the end of the piece will come out in that shape or that shape. And again, there's a couple different ones. Like I said, this one here does this little arrow point, or it does the reverse where the notch goes in. So that one's a really nice one to pick up. This one I also added a metallic adhesive back dot, and those are gonna be on page 55. And they come in, it kind of looks like an antique brass coppery color, and then a dull gold, and then a dullish silver color. So like a, what would the word be? It's not, because it's not a shiny silver, it's more of a dull silver, if that makes sense. But they have a couple different sizes, really fun little accent. And it always looks to me like they have a little dent in them, but it's really just where a light shines on it. They are perfectly round, but they always look to me like they're like a screw head, like they have a little groove in them. But those are really fun to play with. All right, and here, as I promised, here's one where I used the skinny piece on this side. So I've got my little piece, and I've got the larger piece on the right. I used that plaid designer series paper, but I sponged some color on it. So it's got this soft succulent around the edges of that, and it's also got it covering up some of the brightness of the white in that, hi Jessie, good to see you tonight, of that plaid paper. And again, this is the Peaceful Prince from the Celebration catalog, along with the Peaceful Deer stamp set. So I just stamped in watercolored, and then added the phrase that all comes from that same stamp set. All right, and then here's the stepped up version of what I showed you guys tonight. So I added an extra layer to both. That's all right, Jessie. The whole point of this is to just come when you can, watch when you can, and enjoy. There's an extra layer under here, and there's an extra layer under here. And then I took the little snowflakes from here, and I stamped them in Versamark and embossed them with clear embossing powder. So there's little tiny snowflakes, there we go, all over my cardstock pieces. And then I added a little tiny bow. Oh, and I'm gonna bring it up a little bit closer. And I added a little red rhinestone for his nose, so he's a little more Rudolphy. I absolutely love the gingham, or the buffalo check and the plaids and the snowflake ones from this set. It works so lovely in this color palette. We've got gingham ribbons, we've got all that kind of fun stuff. I'm not usually a nature animal-y kind of person, but I am in love with this Peaceful Deer set. I totally took to it. So kind of surprised me, but it was fun. All right, so again, I'll bring in this is the one I made on camera tonight. There's my stepped up version. And again, the change being, I also did the notch to the other side on this one. That's the opposite of the punch of this one. So one side of your pick-a-punch will do the notch, and one side of the pick-a-punch will do the arrow fold. And there's my bunnies. And again, I'll be posting a video later that'll show you guys how that mirror image thing happens. Okay, and again, my inspiration sample, in case you missed it at the very beginning, my dear stamping bestie, Amy Rich, sent me 50 birthday cards over the month of August from her stash of, we always go through and, you know, purge retired items and things like that and give them away to centers and anybody that needs, you know, cards to send, that kind of thing. And she purged some of them to me. So I got 50 cards over the course of the month, and each one had a lovely note in it, something, either it was a funny message about aging or something about our friendship or reasons that, you know, she basically titled it Reasons I Love You, which is just really sweet. So I got all teary each time I opened one because it was just the sweetest gesture. So this was where the inspiration came from. I loved the simplicity of the layout. You could do this with, like I did here, I have 3 strips of designer series paper. You could do this with all cardstock. You could do the, you know, any kind of combination of cardstock and DSP that you like. That's one of the, I love the flexibility of this layout. And again, you're using tiny strips, so it's really easy to do them in multiples. This one could be really easy to do for your Christmas card if you're making a bunch, because it's really, I mean, except for the split phrasing that I did, you wouldn't have to do that if you just put the deer over here, Merry Christmas, without breaking it up. It would still be perfect to send. And like I said, lickety split on some of these. So I think that's going to be it for tonight, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I always appreciate this Monday night time with you, and I hope that you do too. So I will see you next Monday, and please share with me again what you've made out of this particular layout. And again, if you didn't catch the beginning, I hope that you guys caught that I had a little boo-boo on some of my dimensions when I made the initial graphic. There was a little glitch and some of the numbers didn't stay, so to speak, or whatever. They kind of glitched out. So go back and double check either this piece or the new post I made with the correct dimensions on it on the Facebook page. All right, that should do it, and I will see you guys next Monday. Thanks, everybody.